yeah, that was day 2 of 3 of the painting. So tomorrow we're going to start throwing down the color. We should still have pretty good weather conditions for it. I actually took the day off of work tomorrow just to get the painting done. So we run the whole gauntlet again. Pretty much everything we did today, we're going to do tomorrow. Welcome back, everybody. Day 3, hopefully the final day of getting the rolling chassis parts painted. So it's about 11 a.m. and we've pretty much got everything set out, ready to go. Everything's for the most part back in place where it was yesterday. We moved the table around over there. I was getting a little bit too far away, so we went and set it up over here on this side, and we set up another expanded mesh steel table just to kind of open things up a little bit. When you start doing the color, you need a little bit more space around all the pieces to get everything a little bit better. Front end's in the same spot, bolsters in the same spot. We'll change a few things out on this table here, and if it looks like we've got the back end up a little higher than it was yesterday, that's because it is. We tried to get it high enough so that when we're done spraying the red here, we can pop the old rims and tires on each side, and then those will stay on there until we get all of the new and everything reconditioned that we're going to need in that area right there. We're leaving the stands on the front the way I had them because it's nice and stable that way, and having this back end a little higher is going to make it a little bit easier to get the paint down on the bottom anyway. So that's pretty much that. Yeah, I'm excuse me, really ready to see some red on this thing and get this phase done, at least this hurdle. This is by volume probably the largest paint batch we're going to do. Everything we need to paint after this is going to be rather minor by comparison. Got Senior over here at his mixing station, and we're thinking 8 parts paint, 2 parts reducer to 1 part hardener, correct? Correct. And the hardener is where you really need to wear the respirators. That's some nasty stuff to breathe. So he's going to get everything mixed here. He's just about done stirring the paint. I cracked the lid this morning and made sure it was good before we started. We'll get this mixed up and then start spraying.
There we are, our first batch. We're starting on the bolster.
I thought you were talking to me.
No, you just keep going. Anyway, we figure start on the bolster. Let's check out this formulation we got. We do have some smooth surface on top. We can check for orange peel and stuff. And if there is an issue, pretty much this whole thing is covered underneath sheet metal anyway. So far, things look like they're spraying good. Well, here we go. Front bolster and tie rod ends finished up. It's Squatch over here working on the table here. Some more cast stuff and the side rails, some steel. Things seem to be going good, but our 8 2-in-1 seems to be a little thin, so we're going to drop things down to an 8 1-in-1. Got a bunch of cast pieces left to go yet, which is pretty forgiving on your paint mix. So anyway, things are going good. This gun's just about done, and I have batch 2 mixed up already, ready to go. I've got 1 table full finished here. Things are looking really good, I think. And some of the steering stuff done on this one. This is where we ended on the first batch. Got a second batch going now. Got Squatch working on the engine, getting just started on that, which is kind of nice. We got a swivel hook on top so we can keep turning that, get into the sun and stuff. That way you can eliminate your shadows and stuff. So things are actually going really smooth here so far. We usually start at the top and work our way down on these. That way when we get to the underneath side, you finish down one side on the bottom, go around to the other side, finish that out on the bottom. If you do have a little bit of color differentiation between the paint drying and the fresh paint, it's all in the bottom. You don't see it anyway. Just finishing up on the engine now. I'm thinking things are looking really good so far. We'll tell as soon as we get the tape off and things put together. But now we're starting on the last major piece to do right here is on the rear end assembly. So as you can see, he's kind of doing the top and the back half first. We've got some good transition zones there in case we need to change a batch or something. Part of it might be dry, some of it might be fresh paint. So we're doing this kind of in sections. We'll do that back half first. We'll come at the top and work our way around to the bottom, go to the other side. Then we'll do the front part. You can see right where the belt pulley and stuff goes in, and right behind that is a good transition. Also right in front of where the brake drums and stuff are, another one. That's all pretty much covered with pedals and stuff like that. So if there is a slight variation in paint, pretty well not be noticed there. There we have the front axle completed. It's looking pretty good. Hopefully all our repairs we did on there work out so we don't have to get back into it again. I feel pretty confident it's going to be okay. Still have one batch of nuts and bolts to do. We got one done right here, and that's where we run out of paint. So we needed to mix a new batch. As long as we had a new batch mixed, we figured we start on that rear end housing and kind of get that all done with one batch. It's our last table we got done here that we got set up. Pretty much everything that's left will be hung on something and finished that way. What we're going to do first is get all our big pieces done. Then we can finish up batches on the smalls. There we are in the finishing up part of the rear end assembly. Top part pretty well done. Finish up the sides and the bottom side on this side and should be able to wrap her up.
All right, we're done spraying the paint. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. We've been done for a little over an hour now. I've got a lot of the stuff cleaned up from outside. Big pieces are still in place, but we've got the clothesline of all the various pieces drying right there. Drag links right there. Nuts and bolts all done and ready. Come out here, pretty bright. Rear end, that's been done. I can already tell looking through the viewer here that it doesn't really do it justice. I think it looks a little bit better in person than it does on this GoPro, but engine, and honestly this stuff has been, we'll go on some of the masking. This stuff's been drying pretty quick out here in the sun. I've been pleased with that. Bolster, front axle, all done. And over here we have the tables of things. This is some of the first stuff I sprayed, and it doesn't even feel soft anymore. It is still soft. You wouldn't want to bolt it up right now, but pretty happy with how everything turned out. Decent finish on the old filter can. So just want to do a quick walk around of all the stuff. Time to start moving it all in the shop now. All right, we just finally finished putting everything away. It's about 7:30 p.m. We didn't bother videoing most of that because it's a lot of real tedious work when you're dealing with fresh, sensitive paint. But front end sitting right up here. Engine is just behind that. And you got the back end sitting here. And we popped those old wheels and tires back on. These aren't going to stay on here, but that's also why we didn't paint those center hubs. There's a lot of work to do on these pieces yet. We just wanted to throw some rubber back on this thing to get it mobile. Got some parts and pieces on the carts in here, and we still got the nuts and bolts in here, side channels. And the belt pulley is probably going to be the first thing to go on the tractor. I got it kind of anchored to this mesh table, and there's really no good way to put it on anything. Clothesline's still there without scratch and paint. So thinking tomorrow night we're probably going to cap this off right here, call that good. So that is, well, day 3 of getting the rolling chassis painted. We still need to put it together, but yeah, I remember now why I chose not to like painting things. It's 3 days of non-stop torment, but you know, there's a Mountain Dew calling my name. I think I've earned it at this point. So, all right, we got red on there. This stuff is all gonna have to sit probably a good 3 days before we can do anything to it. It's still pretty soft, and we need to let that harden up and dry a little bit, and then we'll start popping pieces together. So that's that. I think I'm kind of done for the evening. Thanks for watching, everybody. I think I'm happy with it.
It's pretty good that I can
Does it
see.
look a little dark right there, or no?
Well, you hit that 2-3 times. I was kind of looking right in that area. It's hard to say. It shines funny in there.
Do we just leave it?
You
I hate to put some flash on it.
You shadow it and you don't see anything.
Okay.
I think it's shadow. How much paint you got left?
Now that's a job not even a mother could love. There, we'll see how that turns out.